Be right.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Random Musings from the Clinical Trials Group. Low Carb Day, episode 229. We've got 4 grams, no, less than a gram. No, 4.4 grams per bottle. 229 is going to be a great one. Here's why.
Is there any bad ones?
Yeah, there's some bad ones, but we probably don't realize it at the time. If we were to listen to some of the older ones, we would think, what the hell were we doing?
What percentage would you say is bad?
Like 5.
And of that 5%, are any of
this
those,
one might be one of those. So far, it's shaping up to be one.
Are any of those absolutely no value to the listener?
No, they all have some value.
All have some value. Yeah. Okay. So I wouldn't
even
say
if it just helps one person.
Exactly.
Forget the other.
Right.
Several thousand.
So I would call that mediocre, right? I wouldn't say that's bad if it's helpful in some way at some
bad,
point.
Like cringeworthy. Like if you were to listen to it and be like, what the hell was I thinking?
Or saying.
Yeah, I have a few of those. Not too many. All right, so we got for our CRO, we've been growing our CRO. I told you guys and gals that 2019 is going to be a super busy year. Has been a busy year. And, we got a proposal for our CRO this time from an EDC vendor, which we will not name, right? For obvious reasons. But we're going to break it down, like what's in the proposal, what are they offering, what's their capabilities. I think this is going to be good for anyone who wants to learn more in depth about what EDC vendors do. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's good for like CROs, smaller CROs like us, our competitors perhaps.
Yeah, why do we want to help them?
Well, we're not really in the CRO space. We're only doing it because it's a necessary evil. We're not really trying to compete with any CROs. We don't want projects. We want a few projects.
That's not entirely true. We don't want to become the next Quintiles. Well, we would take that too, but I think the work to get there is too much.
The trajectory we're on with sites, consulting, building a network of sites now on top of our own. Mm-hmm. Adding a CRO layer because sponsors want it.
Sure.
And then becoming a sponsor.
Ultimate goal.
Is the trajectory we're headed down. So we're not trying to be IQVIA. Not saying that we won't compete at some point. Quintiles. I was talking to 2 CRAs on my recent contract monitoring trip here. Well, I'm not going to say it, but at a university.
Yeah, okay. Which if you watch the video, you can see.
If you watch the video, you see exactly which one it is. They're actually pretty good. This university rejected me from pharmacy school.
Oh, yeah?
And medical
Do you hold a grudge?
No, but it's like when I go monitor there, it's like full circle. I've gone twice so far, and it's like... I always think I've come full circle.
They rejected me, but here I am.
They rejected me, but they can't get rid of me. I'm back.
Yeah.
But they're... so I was talking to these 2 other monitors because they stuck me in a room with 2 other monitors.
And they work for IQVIA?
No, they worked for Cineos.
Another ridiculous name change, but go on.
Yeah, Cineos, which is INC and Inventive.
Right.
And we have a client who works for Cineos.
Right.
And she's saying that they are on her now. And like she's a senior CRA, but like they're very much micromanaging at this point.
Right. Yes, we both talked to this.
And person. I don't know. I don't have firsthand experience with Cineos at all. My only CRA...
Well, you do. It's just not working for them.
My only CRA experience is working for myself, either as a contractor with very small CROs, or for our own CRO, which is the ASIA CRO. So I don't know what it's like to work for Cineos or IQVIA, but I've heard horror stories. But surprisingly, those 2 monitors, not co-monitoring, but sharing a room with me, were not complaining. They had good things to say about Cineos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess context matters. But anyways, this could also be a good podcast for anyone that wants to learn more about the industry. There's a lot of people that are listening and watching that are not interested in being CRAs, but they're interested in working at an EDC company or working in data management. I get a lot of these emails, and I don't really know how to answer them because I don't have experiences with that. But I promise when I get things like this, which are admittedly new to us.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So basically, we have a CRO. This is a proposal by an EDC vendor of why we should use them. And this is the first time I'm actually looking at it. So we're going to go in depth on what they offer and all this stuff. So let me just read some of it. You stop me when it gets interesting. Don't mention any names.
Yeah,
I know you want to read this one out. You want to read this one out. You can't. I'm not going to edit this video.
Okay. I can't make any promises, but let's go.
Yeah, so EDC customers benefit from capabilities that leverage scientific, medical, and domain experts in advanced technology to help conduct trials more efficiently and safely. That's all just blah, blah. Jargon, but and it actually looks nice, right?
Like, yeah, I would agree, it does.
So, here's what they have, all right? This is the capabilities this vendor offers. All right, patient recruitment, which we didn't even... I don't think that's included in the quote we got, but these are their capabilities. All right. Patient recruitment, research network, risk-based monitoring, randomization and trial supply management, clinical trial management system, so CTMS.
So the trial supply management, that would be like lab kits,
IP,
or IP.
Yeah. Okay. And then the CTMS is what we're actually starting to use now with the vendor for our sites, which I have an onboarding webinar I need to attend. It's like a lesson they teach you on how to use the CTMS. EDC, which is what we're using them for.
Another question.
eSource.
Risk-based monitoring. So what, do they have some sort of profile they're looking for? Is they have some sort of algorithm that catches things that maybe the sponsor gives an input on what they want?
They have data. They have data and analytics from previous studies and site info, so they know this site does,
so they just
has X amount of queries per subject compared to this site, so you're graded, and they keep this vendor, and most of them keep these kind of analytics on sites.
So they just employ that algorithm. Hey, if any site meets this criteria, then we need to pay special attention to them. Is that the idea?
And they can also plug in the sponsor's own algorithm for how they weigh
how they want it to be analyzed.
Yeah, so they can do that. Basically, it's a technology company, which is what they should be.
Sure.
Because it's very simple to just have an EDC system. And we talked to the salesperson from this company, and what was he saying about the database? That's like usually where they make their money from, right?
I don't recall.
So there's the EDC, which the sites plug in the numbers, the CRAs review it, source data verify, source data review. But then at the end, when the sponsor wants to analyze the results and send it to the FDA, they need to get access to the database. And a lot of these vendors charge extra for that.
Right, for putting that information together.
And you paid more attention to this call than I did, but what were they saying about that?
Again, I don't recall.
Okay.
Sorry.
It was more Dr. Hoffman, I guess, asking these kind of questions. Okay, so let's get to... This is now, this part of the presentation, which is a 14-page presentation, is getting into this particular vendor, how many employees they have, how many years of experience, what phases, how many trials, how many drugs approved by the FDA. We're not going to get into that. They give us the overall budget for us, for what we need. And we're going to see what that actually
includes,
right?
Yep.
So they say service, science, and focus. Not a traditional software company. Technology-enabled service provider. Solution development, and I'm not going to read this because this doesn't have any practical meaning for
it's just a bunch
anyone
of blah,
listening.
blah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to where it's like customized for our project. Medical imaging. All right, so this could be good. So here's their technology-enabled solutions. This is everything they're offering. It's not what we're paying for. We're paying for the bare minimum EDC and the database. But here's what they offer, like if you had a budget for this type of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
EDC, obviously. CTMS, right? Powerful end-to-end CTMS solution, which is clinical trial management system, with flexible, custom, and standard reporting functionality that leverages Microsoft SharePoint as a familiar interface to streamline user adoption and provide efficient data entry options. Randomization and trial supply management. Okay. End-to-end randomization and trial supply management solution comprised of a fully configurable IRT, which I don't know what that is, do you? And supplies forecasting.
I do, but I can't think of what it stands for at the moment.
So basically, they have a EDC, they have CTMS, they have randomization and supply chain management, full service data management, clinical data management. This is where I think they make a lot of their money from. So the clinical data management provides delivery of data management services from database planning and design consulting through database lock and submission. So I think that's where that's where the sponsors and the CROs would get interested in, not the sites.
Interactive response technology.
Okay.
It's essentially the IVR IWRS.
Okay. Full service clinical data management. Okay, risk-based monitoring. So we talked about this earlier. They can enable fit-for-purpose risk-based monitoring strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Pharmacovigilance solutions. Automated workflows, efficiencies, and leading-edge technology to support drug safety and pharmacovigilance professionals. Payments and forecasting. This is how you pay the sites.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So these are some of the things they offer. What we wanted. Now they get into medical imaging and biomarkers.
Well,
so
how much they charge for that? It wouldn't be bad.
They didn't put the prices for those.
I know, but it wouldn't be bad for us to use a couple of these items.
I know.
Especially the payments, because I don't know who's going to keep track of that.
Right. So those are the technology-enabled solutions. Now they have the scientific services. So it's just showing you the full range. Yeah, it's somebody we know. The full range of
You were just talking over her. Maybe she heard.
Yeah, maybe. Except we're not live.
Ah.
It's impossible. Medical imaging and biomarkers. This is now part of the scientific services, right? So medical imaging, especially in like oncology or things like Alzheimer's, very important to have a good medical imaging capabilities.
Sure.
A lot of gastro stuff now have imaging.
Sure.
Right? And biomarkers. Biomarkers is becoming huge now, especially with diagnostic studies. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so they offer help with that as well. Here's the indications that they say they work on. So oncology, neuroscience, musculoskeletal, cardiovascular, and additional therapeutic areas.
So basically everything.
Yeah, I mean, they're a big EDC vendor. They've been around for like 30 years.
Have they?
Yeah, they're one of the originals.
Oh.
Okay. Then they have another technology. They're using AI, which everyone says is AI now, even if it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Machine learning. Okay, so electronic image transfer. Cardiac safety. Another thing that people forget about. You can get that from your EDC vendor.
How?
ECG cardiac safety services.
Well, I can get that from my ECG machine then.
Right, but they offer... so look, our ECG processing and overread services are conducted in our proprietary cardiac safety platform, and 100% of our ECGs are overread by a U.S. board-certified cardiologist.
That's how. That makes sense.
Yes. So, project team members are recognized for their experience and professionalism in support of clinical studies. They offer QT, TQT, IQT support, whatever that means. Blood pressure monitoring. Okay. Rapidly evolving research and regulatory markets are focused on blood pressure from both an efficacy and a safety endpoint. Right? So they're a leader in the implementation and standardization of blood pressure monitoring within the clinical research and development arena. Yeah?
Okay. So they expand. Do you understand?
Yeah. So they they offer. There's some studies
if
where
there's any irregular blood pressure, they
24-hour pulse wave assessment and automated home and office BP solutions.
Oh,
for like
the wrist
continuous blood pressure monitoring.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So far we're getting none of that, but we're getting the EDC. They also then they have like a research network, which I keep telling everyone listening, it always starts with the sites first. And this is going to be a podcast only video, or podcast only.
No video or audio?
Audio only. This is.
You said video.
We're going in depth. At the end, we're going to do a 2-minute summary for a video and drive people to the audio.
Okay.
So research network. Okay, we keep telling everyone listening, all these vendors, all these CROs, they're losing the interest of sponsors. So
why?
Because what everyone really cares about, what the sponsors really care about, is site influence. Can you get this site to focus on our study? Most can't do that, right? DSCS can do that.
Okay, I agree with you because we're smaller and we have direct connections with the sites. But how can anybody make this claim if they're not in our situation?
So they do it through this research network. Simplifies the complexity and solves challenges associated with trials through a global network of established, readily available investigative sites.
So
they have a network. It's what we're doing with our consulting, but they don't help them with anything other than bringing studies to them because they're a big vendor.
So they say if you focus on the studies we bring you, we'll bring you studies.
They claim.
Right.
Which site is actually going to do that? They're all going to say yes.
Right.
To actually be able to pull that off,
you need to own the sites.
Either own them or do what we do.
Or have direct influence.
Like mentor them and groom them and have a relationship with them, which you can't scale. It's one by one.
Even that makes it difficult. I mean, you could still run into problems. We could still run into problems with that. I think if you don't directly own the sites, you have no real control.
Right. Right. Read this next part as I save the battery on that camera. Recruitment. Research network and recruitment.
Are you turning the camera off?
Yeah, I'm going to save the battery and do video after.
Patient recruitment retention? What'd you say? What am I reading?
Yeah. Research network and...
Oh, both? You want me to read 3 paragraphs? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Okay. The research network simplifies the complexity and solves the challenges associated with clinical trials through a global network of established, readily available investigative sites. Okay, sure.
You like it?
It's more blah blah in my opinion.
It's what we were just talking about.
Sure. As the preferred provider for many of the largest sponsors, CROs, and biotech companies across the globe, we handle phase 1 through phase 4 studies, are capable of taking a first-in-human drug all the way through to post-marketing. I mean, that's great, but I think...
They're trying to be more of a CRO here.
Yeah, but wouldn't all EDCs be able to do this? I mean, they can all handle phase 1 through phase 4. I would think.
Yeah, as far as the EDC and all the technology services, but when it comes to like
the sites,
physical on the ground,
right,
like blood in the needle, test tubes, that requires a different kind of expertise, and they're claiming that they have that now with this network.
Sure, but I mean, it could be not every site in their network handles phase 1 through 4, but they have a few phase 1, and they have a few phase 2 and 3, and a few phase 4, whatever, how they divvy it up.
Right. You're not buying it.
No, we can make the same claim.
Yeah, and we should. This is why we're taking this exact presentation and we're saying we're doing all of this.
Yeah, I suppose.
We are, because you can outsource all of this stuff. And by the way, do you think they actually... Well, they probably do have all this in-house. But startups that make these claims outsource all those things. All of them.
Sure, I'm trying to think of... I believe what they're saying here. And
what about patient recruitment part?
Something tells me no.
We always talk about recruitment here.
Very difficult. Okay, so this company uncovers the right patients for clinical trials rapidly and keeps them informed, educated, engaged, and connected throughout the course of the trial. Yeah, sure. We maintain an extensive global patient database and over 40 online patient communities that can be tapped for recruitment of quality patients. Okay, that part I believe more than the first sentence. The CDC vendor customized marketing programs aid in recruitment and retention. Our proprietary patient engagement tools and strategies drive site performance. I can believe that too. I just don't like the first sentence.
Right. But everyone's trying to be patient-centric these days. But who knows who can actually do it or not? It remains to be seen. So far, nobody can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Even sites can't do it. And they deal... These are their
directly
patients.
with patients, right.
These are their patients, and they can't be patient-centric.
Yeah, that's why I don't like the first sentence.
Right. Okay. EDC. This is what we're quoted for. Okay. License fees include...
Okay, now it's interesting.
This is where, we get to what we're interested in for our purposes. Mm-hmm. I'm actually interested in all that other stuff. We can't afford it for this study. So now we're interested practically in this, right? So license fees, so that price they quoted us, which we won't give out.
Why can't we give that out? I mean, I don't think it hurts to say what's being paid for this service. Can't get sued. We're not mentioning their name.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable. So $181,000 for the following services.
180 and some change.
I think 181 and some change.
Yeah, 181. Let's call it 182.
Okay.
Pre-tax.
I don't think there's tax. Is there tax?
No. Okay. They'll get a, what's it called? W-9.
Right.
License fees include all the tools to collect and manage study data, perform data review and queries, which is what we're going to be tasked to do, and obtain standard and ad hoc study metrics. So, things you want to measure in the study. I want to measure, like, how many SAEs we have of this particular SAE, or just whatever metrics you want. You can...
got it. So they're standard. What, like vitals and stuff? That would be standard?
No, like screen fails, randomization, screen fail rate, those kind of metrics.
Oh, okay. And
those are standard.
Okay. And then ad hoc would be anything outside of the standard, I guess.
Yeah, like anything customized that you want. That's simple enough for them to put together, which can be like AEs of special interest.
Sure.
So providing quick and efficient data collection right at the source, eSource, which we're not going to use, but the EDC can be used on any device or desktop, web browser, no additional hardware or software requirements. You can do it from your phone. Then it gives you the benefits of the EDC, data and query tools, configurable status flags and tagging, cross-form linking, embedded patient questionnaires, capture patient data directly, no separate tools required. So I guess the patients would then log in and do it.
So it's from the above sentence. It sounds like they do this from their phone.
Yeah, you can do it from any device.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah. Well, for some of my stuff, I use the phone, like for the studies we have.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like EDC you can use on your phone and do like questionnaires on there?
Like scales, yeah. It's easier on the laptop, but you can do it on your phone. I've signed EDCs off of the phone.
Okay.
Like issued queries, even as a CRA.
Yeah?
Yeah. Self-serve exports, don't know what that means. Get on-demand study data and access, so different formats. Integration options, you can integrate it with third-party systems. Randomization, integrated subject randomization, dosing, and kit assignment. Pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
It's built in. Cloud transformation gateway, autoencoder, imaging.
And the IVRS is built in too.
Yeah. One subject, one record. Move subjects from one study site to another while maintaining one consistent record.
Don't know why that's important.
Great for snowbirds and others who have since moved or are away.
I don't understand the significance of that.
Like if a patient is...
Study site.
If a patient lives in Michigan but is in Arizona for the summer.
Oh, I see. So if they can flip to another study site.
You can rent them out to that other site.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they can go back. And obviously the sponsor has to pay those sites.
Oh.
But the data's still there. The patient doesn't have to start over. Or doesn't have to discontinue from the study.
Wonder what value that is to most sponsors. Because I know...
For non-psych, like for patients that are mobile and get around, it is.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, for something like hypertension, diabetes.
All right.
Yeah. It's actually interesting. And the first time
we don't need that, but sure. We don't need that for this study.
Also for like satellite sites, maybe. Maybe it's the same company with the sites in different states.
Fair enough.
Right. EDC Plus. I don't think we have the EDC Plus, but training options, world-class support, searchable electronic manual, multiple data views. We're almost done with this. So they're scoping it out for our project, right? Here's the pricing, line by line. This is where it gets interesting for us. So this is a phase 2. We're planning 60 subjects. We're planning 4 sites, 12 months.
Is that right? 4? I thought it was 5.
Yeah, well, it's either 4 or 5. We're not sure.
Chicago,
Georgia, LA, New York.
That's 4.
Yeah.
There might be 2 LA?
No, there might be 2 New York, but we're probably only going to do 1.
Okay.
Project's going to start in February. We're about to get busy in February because we're probably going to sign this. 50 CRFs, 1 EDC external integration, last patient out sometime at the end of the year.
So
database lock March 2020.
There's no way we need 50 CRFs. That's 50 per subject, right?
Yeah.
So is that for all visits?
That's for everything.
Okay, so if you have vital signs at visit 1 and vital signs at 2, 3, 4, and 5, 5 visits, that would be 5 CRFs.
Yeah.
Okay. So
anything that's a case report form.
No, any new page.
Right. And so they're gonna break it down. So we got the EDC study, 1 study, full development of the ECRF form, so they'll make it. The edit check development, I don't know what that means. Study setup, so they'll, I guess, train the people, the users, the CRAs, the sites. Site assessments, web reports. That's $110,000 for the year. And expedited rapid build to reduce the delivery of the. So they wanted this rapid build. Is free part of it, and then external data integration. So I guess that's because the study's already ongoing, and they're gonna enter all that data.
I don't see why they would get charged for that though.
It's $13,000.
I don't see why they would get. I would.
Someone has to enter it. I think it's gonna be them. I don't know. We could find out.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to pay that.
But aren't you glad this is our podcast? You can actually look at this?
Because that makes no sense, because you're still going to encounter that at some point. If they were coming on,
and we still have to monitor it too.
Right. If the study was brand new, you're still going to have that data that's going to get an input at some point for those 60 patients. I don't see why there's an additional charge for that. I don't like that charge.
Well, we can probably negotiate that. It's a good thing we're doing this. Right? Project management services, they will provide overall coordination of the responsibilities, completion of deliverables, and communication to the customer and project team. It's $25,000 for 14 months, so it's $1,800 a month. Integration support, $444 a month. I don't know what that is, but they integrate probably the lab. I think they integrate lab results from the central lab to this. And then monthly site support fee for 4 sites using the help desk, $105 a month. That's reasonable.
To have a support service?
Yeah. It's not going to be used much. Monthly hosting fee for the database, $1,500 a month. Monthly CRA license, $100 a month for everybody. CRA license. So the CRAs are different users than the sites.
So each user...
They have different capabilities. You can issue queries.
Oh, okay.
It's $100 total a month for as many series you want. Monthly site license fee. The sites are actually more expensive per month than the CRA.
More sites.
They think we're actually going to have more CRAs.
Yeah.
But this is total.
They think there's 2 and 4.
Right.
It's going to be more like 4 and 40.
And then the training fee is e-learning, $50 a month for that. Scheduled support. So total is 180 grand, 182 and some change.
No, 181 and some change.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, a few of those charges. I think you could reduce it by 20. Personally, 14 of that immediately. But otherwise, I mean, I don't know. It's the first one I've looked at, so don't know if that's reasonable or not. According to our discussion about the other EDC vendor, it seems very reasonable.
Yep.
I think they wanted to charge well over 300.
Yes.
Right?
For providing less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. Hopefully you find some value from this podcast.
Yeah.
And
hopefully.
we'll catch y'all later.
Less confident than usual about value, but okay.
Yeah, this one's good. We
Okay.
go in depth on some stuff.
Okay.
Talk to y'all later.